This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
And what about our Superconnectivity podcast? Hey, that's us! And it took a lot of editing to get my drunken ramblings to sound semi-coherent. So, yay us. Hey! Cats and kittens, welcome to Superconnectivity. The only podcast that uses a gender neutral term like cats and kittens rather than ladies and gentlemen, because it actually reflects the age disparity between our audience, between those who are still children and loving of comics and fan theories, and old people who are set in their ways about what is and what is not. I am your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is the man in the yellow jacket on the inside.
Phil Perich.
That's him. I don't know what you're wearing here today, Phil. It looks like a jacket.
It's like a sweatshirt.
It's a jacket. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Luke Cage would wear that. And I think that's a compliment. But it's indoors and he's wearing outdoor clothing. You know. But you know what? Maybe we should do that because we should conserve energy even in the cold months. Because of global warming. Just because it's cold.
Right, yeah.
I'm interrupting myself now. Just because it's cold, we shouldn't be encouraging global warming. We have to understand it is a holistic thing of balance. And speaking of balance, Phil, you know the universe is out of balance.
Why? Because you don't like the new title? Because we got the first Avengers 4 trailer, including the title reveal today.
Yes, it is. It is officially called Avengers 4 Electric Boogalore. And it always will be. And there's no other statement that will be made on that subject. I mean, you can make statements. You can call it whatever you want, Philip. You can call it Endgame. You know, as the people do, but no, it's Avengers 4 Electric Boogalore.
They said it was mentioned in the last movie, and wasn't it Doctor Strange that said we're in the end game or whatever?
Yeah, I know, which is... Here's the thing. No offense to the Russo brothers, so I'm going to offend them a lot in this podcast.
Oh.
Trust me, I'm going to offend them a lot in this podcast. You know, that whole thing about when you say the title of the film in the movie, that's actually kind of bad. You shouldn't do that.
All right, to play devil's advocate.
I guess today we really were the Avengers. You should say, today I am the first Avenger.
Is it like every movie when they say, I'm Batman?
Well, yeah, it's like, you know.
It's like, yeah, your name's on it, I know.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm Batman just gets a narcissistic pass just because he is Batman and he just says it a lot, regardless of the title of the film.
True.
I'm Batman.
But do you think
in a desperate kind of way to say, don't minimize me. I'm the Batman.
But I mean, yeah, maybe they could have gone with a better title than Endgame, but did they go that route rather than like a pre-existing comic title? You know, like Infinity War or, you know, whatever, just because they're like, oh, you don't know what's going to happen next. This is uncharted territory.
And that's a fair concept. Here's what I'll say. If the title is Endgame, which apparently it is.
I've seen.
Yeah, it's not worth the secrecy. It's like, it's basically like Tony Stark's father. It's Bendis all over. It's the Bendising of the MCU. You know, Bendis. We can't reveal the secrets of the title. It's going to reveal too much. And then it's such a bland pablum of a name, it's like, oh, okay, so that was. Thank you.
Do you think maybe either A, they didn't care, but Disney's like, oh no, you have to wait. Let's draw out the suspense. Let's hype this thing up. Or B, do you think maybe up until like the last second, they're like, okay, what are we going to call this stupid thing?
It could be. It honestly could be a Cloverfield situation where they never intended to call it Cloverfield, but that was just they randomly called it Cloverfield at the start of the project, and that's sort of what they got stuck with.
No, you two cannot call it Infinity War 2. You have to call it something else. Oh, what can we call this? Oh, well, Doctor Strange said Endgame. Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that might be the case where it literally was a Cloverfield situation where they had a working title, which you're not supposed to use, but just says, okay, what are we going to call this when we talk about it? We'll call it Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And because we want to cap off the first 3 phases of the Marvel Universe. Contracts are running out. We want to open up the next phase. And as we're killing Netflix characters.
And watch, the legend will grow because, months from now, you'll see some story on the internet that will be like, oh, well, Benedict Cumberbatch, that wasn't even in the script. He just came up with that. He just came up with that line all by himself. So he basically named the next Avengers movie.
Won't surprise me. It might not be true, but it's.
But they'll hype it like that.
It's true enough for comic books, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
True enough for comic books. That is where we're at. But speaking of comic books, so here's the big controversy. Now, we all remember I was quite ecstatic when the preview for Avengers 3 Electric Boogaloo comic book came out, because it did confirm the long-held suspicion that it is the Power Stone, all glowy and fantastic there, that enables Thanos to beat the Hulk. Now, interestingly enough, the Russo bros did say, no, it wasn't the Power Stone. He's just really that good of a fighter. Cute. I'm going to say he's that good of a fighter. It's like, yeah, but the Hulk is the Hulk. It's like, don't give me he's that good of a fighter. Now, there is what we will call, so here's what I'll say. First off, the comic books are taking status and saying, dude, you're a movie about a comic book. We're the comic books. We are the canon. And we have drawn the gem glowing. So you all know that's a glowy gem. Now, not for nothing, the gems always glow. The gems are full of freaking power. In fact, if you look at any of the gems in any of the movies, they're always glowing. They are glowing constantly because they're infinity gems. Here's the thing. In the comic books, it's well established. In She-Hulk, it actually makes this explicit, but it's well established long before then. This is when She-Hulk was working for Kurtzberg, Lieber, and I forget the third name. It wasn't Book. Book came later, but it was Kurtzberg, Lieber, and some other person in the original bullpen. No, it's Goodman, Kurtzberg, and Lieber. That's what it was. Goodman, Kurtzberg, and Lieber. And eventually it became Goodman, Kurtzberg, Lieber, and Book. Because we closed the book. It's a whole other thing. Anyway, it was established when She-Hulk fought the champion that the Power Stone, even when it is not actively used, imbues its wielder with unlimited strength. So you don't actually have to actively decide, I'm going to use the Power Stone. Just having the Power Stone in your possession gives you this strength.
And if you're in the middle of a fight, especially like if you're going up against the Hulk, wouldn't you even on a subconscious level be like tapping into that stone?
Well, yeah, well, exactly. Well, the point is the stone isn't a passive.
Yeah.
It isn't. Here's the thing about the stones. The most important thing you have to understand about the stones, they're not passive. They are characters. They may not look like characters, but they are characters. They have opinions and thoughts and feelings. And they do what they want, like Cartman. They don't care. They do what they want. And so as Thanos is beating on the Hulk, and I'm not going to say Thanos ain't a strong guy. I'm going to say Thanos is probably like, top 10 strong guys in the universe. And so he don't even notice how much strength he's getting from the stone. Because he is doing his own rope-a-dope, bob and weave against, let's face it, Banner, not a fighter. Bruce Banner was no Steve Rogers, okay? He was not a guy who entered fights as a skinny guy and thought his way through. He was a guy who got beat down all the time, and the only thing the Hulk gives him is the ability to stand back up.
Yeah, no, until now, the Hulk was able to muscle his way through anything.
Exactly, and that is actually something you see all the time. It's like, anytime anyone with any real strength comes against the Hulk, he usually defeats him in the first comic book, like the Abomination. You have a Red Room trained, a spy who gets gamma irradiated, becomes the Abomination. He beats the heck out of the Hulk first issue. Doesn't kill him, of course, because, well, that's a whole other book now. But then the next episode, it's not that the Hulk gets better as a fighter, it's that the Hulk gets angrier and stronger. He overcomes his inability to fight with his strength. But of course, if you're up against the Power Stone, which has literally the power of the universe, which includes the power of the Hulk. So what are you going to do? Yeah, but we get to this trailer this week because we get our teaser. We kind of got off track there, but the teaser. You open up with, and
Tony Stark.
Can I call a shelter half an entrenching tool here? Why is the Milano out of gas?
That was my question. I was like, does he not know? Well,
okay, let me put it to you this way.
How far away is it? I mean, does it not have the whatever capabilities Thanos' ship had, to travel at those speeds? Because we never saw the Milano near Earth, so. Okay,
well, which is true. And granted, I will give you that the Milano could be almost out of fuel. You're going to tell me there's not a GPS in the Milano that says, first off, you have 3,000 light years left in the tank. There is a helpful refueling station on Primus 9. It's like, you're going to tell me that he's out of gas in a cosmos filled with sentient spacefaring agents.
Yeah, but
now, granted, you may say he doesn't have the cash on hand. I don't know. I got to think that Tony Stark would find a way to get the cash on hand.
One, I don't know how populated this area of space is, because remember, he's probably near Thanos' planet, which was decimated because of the whole whatever. But two, how populated was this area before? Because this is after Thanos snapped. So if this was a podunk town of section of space before, Thanos might have wiped the population away.
Okay, Philip, you ever watch any of those films where like everybody dies?
Yeah.
Is anybody having trouble getting gasoline out of the gas stations after the guy whose job it is to stop you from getting gas unless you pay? Is there? I'm just saying. I'm like, okay, oh, here's a gas station, but as luck would have it, that's the guy who got blinked out of existence. Not for nothing.
I'm trying here, but I know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's just maybe honestly enough. And this might be a real argument to be made. Maybe Tony's tired.
Yeah. Well,
maybe this is kind of suicide by apathy.
Well, he got stabbed too.
Well, he got stabbed, but his robot's fixing that, and that might be a whole other thing. It's the robots. He's becoming more machine than man.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's like, you know what? I don't know if I want to get gas. I don't know what I want to do. I'm just really kind of depressed. Because it seems like a depressing moment for poor old Tony.
And that's the thing. He maybe he hasn't contacted Earth. For all he knows, everyone he knows could be gone. Pepper could be gone.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers could be gone without him, without them kissing and making up. As far as he knows, all the Avengers are gone.
Yeah. Although there is a moment, it's interesting that Nebula may be on his ship.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I did see Nebula. I was like,
So apparently they teamed up. Because I can't believe they're leaving the place in a separate ship.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any. If nothing else, I don't know if there's any other working ships.
Well, yeah, I mean, but here's one thing I got to say. This is like it's a pet peeve about Thanos, and it's the whole it's the killmongering of Thanos, where you want to say, no, actually, he's a nice guy deep down. Well, as I roll my eyes, you can't see it on the podcast. My eyes are like 360.
That's the whole thing with Infinity War. Instead of, like the comics where he just like worshiped death, the hero was like, oh, the universe can't sustain all these people, so I'll save it by, making half
you
disappear.
See him like he becomes the farmer, puts the armor as a scarecrow. You get a little image of that.
Well, there's imagery of that in certain comics too. So,
but you know what those comics have in common? They were all in which Thanos got freaking mind wiped.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, if we mind wipe Thanos, he might actually be very happy as a farmer. Which is actually meant to show that he actually wanted it. Basically, it's the Green Acres-ing of Thanos. That what he really wanted was just to be a simple salt-of-the-earth farmer.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, honestly, there's a whole thing you can do.
That's his retirement property. That's his retirement property. He did his job.
Honestly, yeah. Well, it is the gentleman farmer, the gentleman scientist, the guy who doesn't need to do what he's doing, but he's doing it just so he feels busy.
I've saved the universe. There's nothing left to do. So what am I going to do? Just sit back and.
But most importantly, the universe is not in balance. And why is the universe not in balance, Philip?
Because half of it's missing.
No. That would mean it's in balance. Why is the universe not in balance?
Why?
You got on me about semantics when I mentioned this. Because of the quantum realm.
Oh, yes.
Because somebody wasn't in the universe when the snap happened.
Oh, yeah.
And when the snap happened...
So it's a half plus one. Okay.
We're 50% plus one on the side of life. And not for nothing, Philip. Here's the crux of Yonder Biscuit. What was young Scott Lang doing when he was outside of the universe?
Wasn't he going in there to mine that those energy that
quantum energy. Quantum, Philip. Quantum. It's the brand new version of Vita rays. It's Vita ray radiation. Better than gamma. Better than cosmic. These are quantum ray radiation. But yes, he comes back because obviously he comes back. We know that.
Oh, we see him, in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, with a big old box of quantum. I don't know, man. It's a bunch of quantum energy. They told me to go collect this stuff. And here's Tony Stark like, oh, I'm dying because I'm Tony Stark, the smartest man in the universe. And then he shows up and is like, oh, hey, quantum energy. Well, this changes everything. Now that we have Handwavium. I'm just saying.
So, all right, here's my question. Why was Steve Rogers seem so surprised that Scott Lang was alive? Did they go and check and be like, okay, Scott Lang's dead? Because it's like when he shows up, can't they be like, oh, well, the snap didn't get him?
Well, he wasn't in the last movie, Phil.
Yeah, no, but I'm.
So it's like
But he wasn't with them the whole time. So how does Steve Rogers know the snap? You know, that just the snap didn't affect him.
Well, pretty clearly he's kind of tore up about the niece of his girlfriend dying. Because he's got the little locket with the new girl in his locket, not for nothing.
And his Bucky.
I don't know if Bucky made it out. No, Bucky didn't make it out. No. But his arm went away too. Why does vibranium go with it? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the Black Panther suit was like all woven with vibranium, isn't it? He disappeared whole.
Maybe just say vibranium isn't the cure-all solution that we hoped it would be.
Yeah, remember Winter Soldier disappeared completely. Rocket didn't get a chance to grab that arm.
Poor Rocket.
I know he's last. I mean, besides Nebula, he's last man standing from the Guardians.
Yeah, well, you know what? But Rocket honestly was the best one. He is the detective chimp of the Marvel universe. I think we can all agree to that.
Oh, but did you notice? I mean, I don't know if they were. Maybe that's why they figured Scott was gone, because it looked like they were doing a final tally on the screens. Like they showed Banner standing there. There was like a screen of Scott Lang, and I believe it was Shuri next to him. So did Shuri disappear? Because we never got confirmation either way.
That Shuri survived.
Oh, did she?
Shuri officially survived, so it might have been everyone that survived.
Oh yeah, maybe they're tallying. Who survived? Yeah,
and maybe it's not so much that they were surprised to see Scott, so much as they were waiting to call him, not to have Scott show up.
Maybe.
But they don't know that Scott has got a big old box of quantum stuff. I got quantums here. I got quantums by the truckloads.
And it's like, and people keep acting surprised that he got out of the quantum realm. He did at the end of the first Ant-Man movie. Why couldn't he do it again?
Well, yeah, it's not like he doesn't have like a grow button.
Exactly.
It's like,
it might not be the smoothest transition back to this plane, but it worked. It worked at the end of the first Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's like, well, I gotta
put the thing in the belt. Yeah, hit the button.
I've got eat me's and I've got drink me's, so I'm okay. You know, it's no, I don't know why anyone in the universe would be surprised by the fact that he got out of the quantum realm.
I heard that people at work.
It ain't the Speed Force. It's not like a place you get lost for a whole season or or 2 episodes.
I think people forget, and then they had to use the tunnel and Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm like, no, he just hits the button. Come on.
Yeah, it is literally just a button. Now maybe he came up, and that's the thing. It's like you don't know where you'll come up. Maybe you'll come up where you left off, or maybe you're going to come up in the middle of Siberia. Maybe he wound up in Kunlun. Who knows?
I mean, unless Steve Rogers and the Avengers figure, know that the Pims got taken and stuff, so maybe that's why they think Scott's gone too. Who knows? But
yeah, well, I mean, for what it's worth, it is that idea that Hank and although they don't know about Janet yet, because if Tony Stark's lost in space, maybe they went to like Hank Pym for help or something, and then they discovered the Pims are gone. Yeah, I mean that's the truth is they found a big old ant. Although, I got to say this, Andre the Black Nerd made a really interesting point about the idea that what if Ant-Man's the one who saves the day? Now, what's funny about that, because I was thinking to that, remember that Avengers series that came out before the last Avengers series? It's called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes or something.
Okay, yeah.
It was with the previous animation studio, the Studio Roma, before Disney took it away from.
Oh yeah. It was like more based on the comic book than
Mm-hmm. Yes, and they faced Kang, and Kang took them to a decimated, hellscape future.
Yes.
And who saves the day there?
Wasn't it Ant-Man?
It was Ant-Man, because he said, "You know what? I'm gonna reach out to all the dang cockroaches." Because you didn't kill everything. There's a bunch of cockroaches around here. Well, you kill half the cockroaches. That's like a day's work for cockroaches. It's like, oh man, we lost half of them. Man, we're a whole day behind schedule.
I mean, he might. I mean, Ant-Man might be a big part of it, but too, I mean, there's stuff we haven't seen. There's stuff we haven't seen in this movie. Like we saw no Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and I was
And
waiting for that. I was waiting for the knock on Tony's door at the end.
I'm thinking the next trailer, especially like they'll do like a Super Bowl trailer probably, and then we'll get
it's like
Captain Marvel.
Excuse me, you're an Earthling, right? You're from Earth. Okay, I got a page. These things give you no data.
So yeah, so Ant-Man's got quantum particles. Captain Marvel's going to be there. This time Thor's going for the head.
We can only hope with his new Groot-infused hammer.
Goes for the head. Thor, no, that's the Scarecrow. Oh.
Well, honestly, yeah.
Oh, but you know what they had to throw in this first trailer? Disney probably told them to shut everyone up. They're like, we don't care what else you put in this first trailer. Make sure you put Hawkeye in this trailer so people shut up already.
Yeah, Ronan.
Ronan, I just want. All right, I got a theory. I can't remember if I've said this before, but maybe he goes Ronin because his family got wiped out.
Well, Avi, yeah. I mean, I think the fact that that his family got caught in the unlucky 50, which again, okay, so here's the thing. If you are the creature who totally snaps the universe, let's be honest here. The reason that all the heroes survived is because not all of the stones were on board with this. And I think one of the things we've seen in this is that not all the stones are on board with what they're doing. That's why the Tesseract went silent after the Nazis used it. They were like, you know what? I wanted to help you people, but it's not working.
And maybe
that's why the freaking Power Stone went silent, because it like made this planet a utopia, but then even the Power Stone couldn't sustain it. It was like, you know what? You guys got to deal with your own stuff. And you'll note that the Power Stone became exactly like Thanos' homeworld.
Maybe
I don't know why too many people make sure planet fall off its axis, but apparently it does.
And maybe, that if our theory holds true that all these missing people are in the Soul Stone, if the stones have their own thing going, maybe there's Thanos was looking to wipe everyone. It's like, no, we'll just keep them in here for now.
Well, yeah, because as I've said, they don't turn to dust. They are depixelated by the reality stone. If I hear one more person say it, they turn to dust. I'm gonna say you are wrong, sir.
They did that visual effect on purpose, so people are like, "Oh, they crumbled to dust." No.
Well, yeah. Well, but clearly, and that they showed earlier in Avengers 3: Electric Boogaloo. They showed earlier that this is what happens when the reality stone becomes dereality. It's this dust effect. It's one of the effects you can get for your own video compilations for $9.99 at 16 different websites out there. Because video effects are cool. But no, it's just this thing for me that. They didn't crumple into dust. They got depixelated by the reality stone, and we'll see what happens from there.
So, but the other reason the Avengers didn't get wiped out is because is this going to be like the original? Is this going to be the final ride, at least for a while? That original team? Are we going to get a new Avengers team after this movie? Like maybe Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Black Panther.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm still hoping for Cap's Kooky Quartet.
Oh yeah, because we got Fox back. Because they were
nothing. The only thing that died this last episode was Cap's beard. So clean shaven Cap is back in the whole Super Soldiers uniform, not the Captain America uniform. Notably,
time to lead the Avengers again. Let's shave.
Yeah, well, you got it. You want to look. You want to look your best.
He's the reverse Charlie Esser. He gets a full-time job and he shaves.
Trust me, when I have you know what? I'll be honest with you. with you. This job it's unique and it's beautiful, and I'm trying to navigate it, and it's crazy. Brought my laptop home this weekend because I'm a full-time employee, and full-time employees get to bring home their laptops.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, I'll tell you what's something, man. You live 5 years in the wilderness. You know what fancy is. So yeah, so I'm gonna be working all weekend, but that'll be fun. But that's enough about my life.
So what else do we get in this trailer?
What else do we get in this trailer? Well, we got Ronan wiping the blood from the sword, and I don't know. I'm not comfortable with Hawkeye. Just like, first off, the swords. What is he? The swordsman now?
Well, I mean, Ronan's supposed to be more like a ninja with no master, I guess. But
wait, yes, that is literally what the term Ronin
means. Yeah. Well, some people might not know that, but I mean, so what? He's just going around killing guys now. I mean, I could see if he was like gearing up to like go like kill Thanos or something, but he's just going around randomly killing bad guys or something?
It was in Times Square, so obviously, yeah, he's killing bad guys. Because it looked like Times Square. I mean, it might be someplace in Hong Kong or Tokyo,
yeah.
But it was probably someplace in Georgia. All things, yeah, I'm just saying, that's where they make movies nowadays. It's all in Georgia. They apparently have very good tax benefits to making a film in Georgia. But yeah, I mean, I've never gotten into the Ronin character, like literally never. Like the closest I ever got to liking Ronin was when Blade was Ronin for like 2 weeks and then became Spider Hero.
Well, you know who killed Hawkeye off and brought him back as Ronin, right?
Who did that? Bendis. Oh, that Bendis fellow. Well, I mean, fine. Bendis. You know, there comes a point where the whole idea of having a superhero secret identity is ridiculous, and does not become less ridiculous for any reason. It's like I said. You know what I think is the best way to end Titans? Not with Robin becoming Nightwing, but just him becoming Dick Grayson and just kicking butt as Dick Grayson, because he has come to terms with who he is as a butt kicker. And there are plenty of professional organizations that will allow you to kick butt within the structures of society, one of which he's already a member of, the police department.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going the whole Nightwing route, and two.
No, we don't know that, Phil. Well, you hope they're doing that. Phil, you hope. You pray.
I basically
go to bed every night, lighting your candles at your Nightwing shrine, saying, please let this be the one.
I've basically got confirmation from Brian Edward Hill. I bring up Nightwing. He's like, who's that?
Okay, well, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, there's always precedent where it's like, if he just wants to chuck the whole identity thing, that's one thing. But when it leads back to, Daddy Warbucks Wayne, he's going to be like, no, you keep that mask on. Nobody needs to know I'm selling orphans.
I saw a great little meme today of Bruce Wayne, the saddest little rich kid. It was like Bruce Wayne in the Witchy Rich style with all the little Richie Rich other Justice League members written. I said, man, I really wish DC would make that a thing. Like little Bruce Wayne,
yeah,
as the saddest little rich boy.
Isn't that Gotham?
No, because this would be a comedy. This would be a book for children.
Okay,
Philip. No, Gotham is great. It is one of my favorite DC adaptations so far. Which, says a lot, because they've had great adaptations over the years. There was, Burton's Batman, and then
66
the
Batman.
First 3 Supermans, and 3 being the best of them all. And, then, a long spot in which DC did no other films or other projects. So, hey, speaking of DC, let's talk Warner's and Netflix for a minute.
Okay.
I don't know how long you want to go tonight. If we're going too long, we can always go to comic books.
Not good.
Yeah. So Netflix for like $100 million, I think. It's like a total Dr. Evil number. Like $100 million. That's what Warner said was the price of Friends. And Netflix said, oh, okay, here you go. Which is...
Well, I mean, if the response I saw from like the internet was anything, it was like, oh, people are in a panic. Friends are leaving Netflix in January.
Yeah, I don't even get that. I mean,
yeah.
It's like, no, I like Friends. Don't get me wrong. I love Friends.
It was all right.
For all of its sexist, racist, homophobic banter. I loved it. It was a fun story about racist, sexist, homophobic rich people, and their two poor friends.
The 90s.
The 90s. When you could have four poor friends, and that forgave everything. And not for nothing, it's not like Phoebe was actually ever poor. That's like the weird thing about Phoebe. It's like she lived on the streets and was homeless, but like not because she was homeless, but because
she was wacky.
Because her life was pretty shitty. Oh, sorry, Phil.
I thought you said shady.
It was pretty shitty. She had a shitty life. Honestly, it's like the emotions of her life were the reasons she was out on the streets, not any economic deprivation.
Didn't she have like a job as a masseuse or something? Or
well, no, she had a job, but there was a time where she was homeless. But it seems to be less that she was homeless and more that her family was just
wasn't it more
problem.
Yeah,
honestly, it's not. It's never even like her family was problematic. That's the weird thing about it.
She was just like a hippie.
Yeah, it's like her sister was kind of a jerk, but her grandma was always nice, and her grandma lived well into the series. So it's like, why were you homeless again? Except for but this is what we call your Bruce Banner white privilege. It's like I can make it as a homeless person.
I'm the magical white person.
White people are magical, Phil. Honestly, Philip, as a person who has slacked off his whole life, I can tell you, white people are magical. We are like, honestly, I don't know why they make movies about us giving like advice to young. Actually, they do that because there's always the story about the coach who inspires the team.
But Into the Spider-Verse comes out next week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, in which case, not Tobey Maguire. Though they say they wanted Tobey Maguire for the job, but I guess he said, I don't know. And if you're Tobey Maguire, you're really turning down roles. I don't know. But
meanwhile, they're like, "Hey, Nick Cage, I'm in. We didn't even tell you what it is. I'm in."
Yes. Well, it's Nick Cage. Well, first off, let's be honest. Nick Cage says that to any movie.
That's what I said.
Tomorrow.
They didn't even tell him what it was. He was like, "I'm in."
And he says, "Okay, I'm in."
It's a movie about I'm in.
Yeah, he's an actor's actor. He loves to act. Doesn't care what the part is. He just wants to. He wants to expand his horizons as an actor, and I respect him for that.
Yep.
But anyway, where were we?
The Warner DC
yes,
thing?
Friends. So Netflix bought Friends for an exorbitant amount of money and didn't blink, which says that either Netflix is in a better situation than anyone even imagined, or Warner's in a spot where they are so afraid of what they're about to do. And I'm heavily inclined to think that Warner's really isn't committed to the whole streaming platform idea.
Maybe. And also
I am inclined.
Did Netflix have to pay Disney for for like the Marvel series, you know, like Daredevil, Luke Cage, all that?
I mean, they had a collaboration in which Marvel got money.
Okay, so I'm saying, well, now that you're canceling all these series, are they freeing up some money though too?
Well, they certainly have freed up money, but would you free up money just to buy?
No. I'm not saying just to buy Friends, but they might have had this money floating around, and they're like, well, hey, a lot of people seem like they want to keep Friends, so hey, let's take this money we're not paying Marvel now and use some of it to buy Friends or keep it.
Really? I mean, yeah.
Maybe.
Honestly, I think it was a big FU to Warner's on the subject. I mean, it's a really fancy FU. It's like, hey, have some chocolates and here's this bed filled with rose petals, but we're still going to FU. You know, but it is this moment where they are saying, you know, yeah, we're meeting your price. And honestly, the price for Friends, I think, and that's the thing, I think it wasn't even so much that it's Friends, it's just that it was the first thing that Warner's tried to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a ridiculous number on it, and Netflix just said, sure. You know, didn't even look up from their cards. They're playing solitaire. It's like, yep. How much? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you think maybe are they in panic mode too? Because now with the Marvel stuff going, they're like, okay, well, what are people clamoring for? Okay, reruns of this old show. Okay, keep it.
No, I don't, because I think that they've got. Here's the thing. I think that the original content on pay platforms, especially when you have more than one thing, DC, more than one bit of original content on your platform, I think people are like, yeah, you know what? Because here's the thing. Me and my kids, we're still waiting for the next installment of a series of unfortunate events. Over on Hulu, I'm still waiting for season of The Awesomes, even though I've been informed that it has been canceled.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's these things that'll bring us there that, you know, that Warner's and Disney don't own.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that as far as, you know, Disney pulling off of Netflix, I think Netflix was like, okay, that's fine. You know, we really enjoyed having you here. If you ever want to come back, we're always a place. But, you know, we're in a position, we are actually in the position of power. Because literally no one has bought your Disney Plus yet, or your Warner's 3 tiers of magic. You know, I mean, yes, you have gotten your DC universe yet, but you know, for one show.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. It almost seems like they're doing one show at a time, because Titans ends, I think the season finale is on the 21st of December, and then like first week of January, Young Justice, new season of Young Justice comes out. So it's like they're doing stuff like one season at, you know, like one at a time. It seems very weird.
And here's the idea: if a season costs $20 million to make, let's say, and you get well, actually not even 20 million. You get 200,000 people to pay $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you've paid for that series, and they probably have more than 200,000 subscribers. They probably got 1 million subscribers, each paying this extra amount. And there was a great thing I remember. Faith Salig had a series before she was on Wait, Don't Tell Me. And she made and there was this point about demographics where, you know, you sell 1 million things and it's a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there are 300 million people in America, which means 1/3 of 1% is all you need.
Well, there's just, there's just so much vying for people's attention these days that, yeah, I don't think anything gets more than like a couple million, you know, subscribers or views or.
Well, exactly. But once you have 1 million subscribers paying $8 a month, let's say.
Yeah.
That's $8 million. And that's a lot. And that's every month. There's 12 of those each year. I mean, and if you put out one show a year, you're pretty much in a profit margin.
I mean, there's how many cable networks, there's how many streaming platforms now, how much is on the internet now. I mean, it was easy to get 50 million people when there was only three TV stations.
Yeah, and that is the thing. But like I said, I think that Netflix has. I think Netflix is negotiating from a position of power, or at
Yeah.
least a position of perceived power.
Well, yeah, they're like
And,
we were kind of the first.
well, they were, and this was always their baby.
Mm-hmm.
So one thinks that, given how much time they had to think and plan about this, that they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Hulu came in and kind of, cloned their site. But still, I think Hulu's doing better than anyone else because it's there,
Mm-hmm.
And not for nothing, Hulu doesn't have to pay for all the hit shows they want to put on because it's owned by the networks that produce the shows. So they can put the Hulk on, they can put The Good Place on, And it's like, when you come to a company like Warner's, what really are you offering?
Yeah.
I mean, the best that Disney can offer is like, well, we're going to release The Vault, which is like 6 movies when you think about it. It's like Song of the South and like probably 5 others that I can't even think of right now.
I mean, Disney has the variety, because it's like you have all that Disney stuff, you have all the Marvel stuff, you have all the Star Wars stuff.
And as far as we know, that seems to be the way Disney's marketing. Disney is making themselves a Netflix. They say we've got all the Disney stuff. And maybe they'll even bring in some stuff that's from other places. We don't know. We don't know yet what Disney's going to put on. They could put on stuff that's just been syndicated through ABC rather than owned by ABC.
Plus, they just acquired a bunch of Fox stuff. Who knows what that includes?
Well, exactly. And certainly, Warner's is now owned by AT&T, and they're their own powerhouse. But their content is limited. That's the thing, is AT&T gives them access, but access without content is useless.
Because I forget when we were talking about the deal. Did Disney get the rights to The Simpsons? Did we say that? So I mean, that you could put The Simpsons,
the Disney princess,
30 years of The Simpsons on there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they already, and not for nothing, I think they got I don't know if they got the Fox cable channels or not, but I think they did. They didn't get Fox News. They don't get Fox, the terrestrial station.
Mm-hmm.
They might have gotten like FXX and FXY and FX, They might have. I could be wrong there, but in which case, in those things, losing The Simpsons, because literally they played The Simpsons 24 hours a day, is going to be kind of a blow to them. Honestly, I don't know how Disney talked them into this, but it's pretty amazing. But you also see in this structure the difference between Disney and Warner's. Disney is buying content. Warner's is buying infrastructure.
Yes.
And the idea is that if Warner's is thinking, well, if we have all the infrastructure, we can push people towards our product. But of course, the idea is you don't make the product to sell the infrastructure. Arguably you do make the product to sell the infrastructure, but I think if you have the better product, it demands the infrastructure.
Well, I think that's the whole thing with the MCU versus the DCEU right now is, all the Marvel movies and stuff. They're like, we have our content is going to bring the people in, and like you were saying, DC's movies, they're like, we have the properties, we'll figure out the story later. The properties will bring the people to us, and it's like, once you get there,
we'll see how Aquaman works out.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. Aquaman was the joke superhero in Entourage. Because if those of you who followed Entourage, who enjoyed it, which it's a fun show, they had boobs in it. That was back when HBO still had boobs. Now that, for whatever reason, now that Warner owns AT&T and HBO, they don't do boobs anymore.
I don't watch it, but doesn't Game of Thrones have boobs?
They used to.
Okay.
But they've toned down the boobing a lot. They used to have boobs a lot, and basically what I'm saying is it's no Dream On. For those of you who are old enough to remember Dream On, that was a show. It was all boobs, and it was glorious. Um, you know, well, as things go.
Sometimes Tales from the Crypt, you know.
Well, Tales from the Crypt was a remarkably tame show for a show that was based on an EC comic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was blood and gore, but you know, we're Americans, and Americans don't care about blood and gore. Just a weird thing. Americans don't worry about violence. Europeans don't worry about nudity.
Yep.
No one knows why. Except for the fact that America is a country that was founded on the blood and death of millions of Native Americans, and so we've probably desensitized ourselves to violence. Whereas, you know, in Europe, not so much, and so they worry about sex. Or no, they worry about violence, but they're okay with sex. Anyway, do you want to talk comic books, Phil? Because we've talked a lot about all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about what's behind the Green Door.
Yes, Immortal Hulk.
The Immortal Hulk. Now, I have a fan theory. You know, so here's the thing. If you're a fan of the demonic Marvel books, of which I count myself a fan, and not for nothing, Doctor Strange isn't necessarily a demonic book. Just gonna say that because I haven't been reading Doctor Strange lately. But we have essentially the world has gone to heck and back.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the entity that took over Creel, who I still say is going to break his way out of this whole nonsense. And he's opened up the portal and made the world, you know, like in a handbasket. And the big question is who is this demon that is opening this door? And I gotta feel it has to be a major demon. You know, I gotta feel it is someone more than just, you know, some random, you know, demi-demon. I think it has to be someone big. My thought is it is satanic.
Yeah.
Because, first off, satanic has not been in circulation for a while. And point two, satanic is green. So it makes sense that he would be associated with the Hulk.
But did
in
you
the
see
same way that I associate Ceterac with Cyclops?
Maybe. I mean, did you see the blurb in the letters page for next issue? It said something about the hell below all. So is it like the lowest level? Do you think maybe that's the lowest level of hell? Am I reading too much into that?
I mean, it's entirely possible, but I will say this: Satanish, in his last like major appearance, was essentially made to be something less than the other demons, so he may be the ruler of the hell below all. If you remember the Patsy Walker saga, when she came back, the Hellcat, when she became Hellcat, because originally she was just the cat, then she became Hellcat, and when she comes back from the dead and is confronting her ex Damien Hellstrom, there becomes this whole thing about, you know, the interdynamics of hell, and you know, this idea that Satanish actually wasn't even a major demon; he was something created from the dark dimension. That the dark dimension formed its own ruler of the damned, just so it could have a thumb in the game. Now that's later been retconned out, but it's still this idea that maybe Satanish is the second-rate devil in the Marvel universe, in which case finding his association with David Banner as he's blowing up the world with his gamma bombs might make a lot of sense, because he's the guy who needs that in. What do you think, Phil?
Like I said, I don't know. I mean, it could be Satanish. It could be... I don't know. I don't know what to think with this whole Banner's father thing.
Well, obviously, I don't think it's really his father. I think it's someone taking
some
the form
demon.
of the...
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. I mean, honestly, when you're writing a heavily psychological book, I think often you write yourself as in your corners.
Yeah.
Which is never the case with the West Coast Avengers.
Yes.
Yes, and for
number 5.
Many things I love about this book. You have basically, Kate Bishop Hawkeye getting reamed up by Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
They do kind of give a left-handed reference to the fact that, there was this negativity about superheroes and reality shows.
Yes.
Ending poorly. We get Gridlock, our villain of the piece, who essentially has the power of Voltron.
I was going to say some Transformers.
Yeah, it is what it is. They fight. They eventually get captured by Madame Mask in an amusement park, which sits with me in this weird way because it's like, why is Madame Mask using an amusement park? Is she, Gwenpool's already beaten Arcade once. Although I'll tell you this much, the fact that Arcade beat Deadpool would make Arcade interested in Deadpool. But we get what is essentially an Arcade kind of story plot here.
I mean, like they were hitting around and maybe a group because, yeah, you saw an image of Madame Mask, but then we see that Satana taking out Hawkeye.
Yeah, so we do see
Clint
Satana.
Barton in America.
Yes, and it was nice seeing Satana. I mean, this could all be a whole thing from Satana. Now, do remember that the last time we saw Madame Mask, it was in infamous Iron Man. She was messing around, I believe, with the Wand of Watum. So that's entirely possible. I love our Gwenpool references. I love how stoic she is about being rebooted.
Yes.
The fact that, I don't have those powers right now because the writer doesn't want me to have those powers. And it is such a beautiful thing, And not for nothing. Let me say this about Gwenpool. She knows I got to go along with what the writer wants because I don't want to be a casual victim at the start of the next arc. It's like, so that is pretty awesome. I love Gwenpool and I love all the things she does. Although I really, my favorite reference to Gwenpool so far was in the Spider-Man Deadpool comic previously, and I really want people talking about Gwenpool in the Marvel Comics bullpen.
But speaking of, did you read the newest one this week, Spider-Man Deadpool 43?
Yes, I did.
In the negative zone.
Yeah, and you're right. It was Blaster. It wasn't Annihilus.
They were hitting you over the head with Bugs last issue. There was a red herring.
Yeah. Well, the Bug, like Humbug, who was an old Spider-Man villain who could speak to comic insects, actually does find a way to make peace, which sadly Humbug never did.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it was a fun issue. They're running around, they're shooting laser beams.
David took a shot at it. David took a shot at a DC book because this whole thing with the 9 panels and the whole panel here where it says Deadpool that's from Mr. Miracle when they were just throwing like a Dark Side is.
Oh, okay.
So I believe it's like a Mr. Miracle thing.
When what's his name? The bearded guy did Watchmen. Alan Moore. When Alan Moore did Watchmen, he did that 9-panel structure.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly just meant to be an homage to classic 9-panel comics, decompressed storytelling. If you want real classic 9-panel storytelling, just ask Fantastic Four and the True Believers books that were out this week. I don't think these have codes yet, but although to be fair, it's actually 6 panels, not 9. 9 is when you're being fancy, and nobody likes you when you be fancy. So, yeah, that was Deadpool and Spider-Man together. It's a lot of fun. I'm just waiting to see where it goes, because it seems to go very chaotically everywhere.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I know you. I don't think you did. Did you read the Defenders books that were out this week?
No, I didn't read any of the new Defenders. Honestly, here's what I'm going to tell you. Namor is a reach to start. The Hulk is probably my favorite character of all of them, but even he is like on the let me just see what happens next week, next episode kind of thing. Doctor Strange, I love Doctor Strange a lot, but I have not read him in literally years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the last thing I read was the Faustus Gambit, where Mordo sells his soul to both Satanic and Mephisto for unlimited cosmic power. And then when they show up to collect his soul, like, wait, I own his soul. No, I own his soul.
Oh, Constantine did that years ago.
Well, when you say years ago, Phil, was this the 90s?
Maybe. I can't. I read it in trade, so I'm not sure exactly when it was. It was probably 80s or 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that Doctor Strange did it first, because I'm going to say that just because this was back when no one cared about comics except for foil companies, and so that was a great arc for both Mordo and Stephen Strange. But yeah, but that's that. Did you read Marvel Knights this week, Phil?
Yes, I did. Number 3.
Yeah, I feel bad for poor Frank Castle. I gotta be honest.
I know, because like the way they set it up before, I thought like he had his family back or something, but I guess he's just with some woman, and for
well, he's moved on.
In the back of his head, he's like, I feel guilty, but I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. And this does have one of my favorite characters in it this week.
Hold on.
When he goes in with Officer Blake.
Oh yeah. Loki, yeah,
Teen Loki, who's all like, "Oh, this universe, I don't like it."
It's like I was trying to draw on that other officer, not you.
Yes, and not for nothing, the whole Thor is Blake thing, and Blake as the trigger happy cap. Interesting take. And we get a nice meeting with the Scarlet Witch at the end.
Yeah.
With her kids, which is nice.
Is the Scarlet Witch included here as like almost like a red herring? So now are you supposed to question, okay, was it Doom? Was it Scarlet Witch? Did she pull in no more superheroes, or
Well, that's of course the constant question. We'll have to see where it leads. But I like that book. I Marvel Knights is now on my pull list, so I'll say that much for that.
I believe it's a miniseries, but I can't remember how many parts it is.
Oh, I'm sure it's a miniseries. Marvel Knights is always a miniseries. It's still on the pull list.
Yeah.
There's more than one issue. They pull it for me. Okay. Was there anything else we want to talk about tonight, Phil?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, I think we did. We didn't actually talk the new Captain Marvel trailer. That's the second trailer. The big noticeable difference is that, of course, the granny gets what's coming to her. Rather than we just see the image of her getting punched in the face, she actually does fight back. And Captain Marvel wipes the floor with her, I assume.
Huh?
I enjoyed the new Captain Marvel teaser. It seemed as good as anything. I'm not overwhelmed by it. I'm still going to go see the film with my socks on, but it's yeah, the trailer was not overwhelming to me. It was great, and I was anticipating it. And I guess in many ways, it's kind of like Infinity War 4 Electric Boogaloo, which is that, it's not so much that, oh, this is so great. It's just that we've waited so long. But,
do you think, too, they don't want to give too much away also?
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know.
I think sometimes with the Marvel stuff, I mean, the content is there, but in the trailers, they're like, okay, let's give them the flashy stuff and save the stuff of substance for the movie.
Yeah, well,
unlike some people who like put everything in the trailer, so there's like no surprises. Easy.
We'll say what Marvel is doing and Disney is doing is they're saying people do a lot of dangerous things and violent things anyway, but you don't have to. So if you're attacking the golems with spears, that's fine. If you are shooting them, that's less fine. But that's that.
All right, so we get out of here before you fall asleep.
Yeah, you don't want me talking about. Well, you don't even get this reference, but you don't want to talk about when they find the secret knockout drugs.
It's always next week. There's always more episodes, my friend.
There's always more. Look, there's always Sunday, Philip.
That's Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Yes, when we talk the CW crossover.
I'll see how many I can make, man. I'm trying. But yes, Supergirl next Sunday. Watch it with us. Maybe we'll even live tweet something.
No, the Flash on Sunday. They switched it this week for the crossover.
I gotta watch the Flash.
How dare you? Yeah, Flash Sunday, Arrow Monday, and then Supergirl Tuesday. Supergirl's the finale, dude.
God, make me wait till Tuesday for Supergirl. Wait, it's just 3 episodes?
Yeah, Legends isn't in this. It's Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. That's it. I mean, the Legends mid-season finale is this week also, but it's not part of the crossover.
Crazy. Okay. Well, we'll all watch all of that next week, Phil. Phil, how can people reach out to you or us?
All right. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And check out Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, on Twitter at Capes Lunatics, and our voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
And if you'd like to write to me in an old-fashioned email way as our Maz and Paz once did, that is at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And I look forward to you all listening to us later. Yay. Okay, Philip, let's...
Did you even say quality?
The quality. Bing! That's it. Well, I didn't even get to that. So
he's about to pass out.
If you'd like Apple to Juice is on the Twitters, live tweet, Agents of Shield, yada yada. That's CHARLIESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for what now, Phil?
For quality.
Bing! That's what you should look for the 2 E's in the middle for. Okay. So Philip, let's go to bed.
The apple juice has hit full saturation. He's podcasting with his eyes closed right now.
At full saturation.
He's gonna message me in the morning and be like, "Hey, I don't remember the last 20 minutes of Superconnectivity. What did you talk about?"
Oh, I never remember the last 20 minutes of Superconnectivity, so that's fine, Philip. But you all do, because you've been listening, and listen to us next week for more Super Connections on Superconnectivity. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, that was very stream of consciousness. I don't think we're gonna win any potties for that.
Pure Esser.
Is that what they call the awards for podcasts? The potties?
I don't think
that's a bad name for podcasts.
I'm a bombastic fellow.